Omkaramendo Sayupancham Jayanti Yogina Kamadam Okshadam Chayumkaraya Namo Manganam Bhagavanu Manganam Ukamuni Manganam Kunkundari Ujendra Musumanganam Namasana Sadhani Swanu Bhutya Jakasti Swadhay Bhavaya Sarvama Vibhav Niyusanidata.
Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Arantanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Aryanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Vajjayanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Esu Panchana Mukkaro Sarva Pava Pranasano Mangalalancha Sarvesing Padamam Havai Mangalam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyaktam Nityan Dhyayanti Yoginam Kamadam Mokshadam Sheva Omkaraya Namo Namah Namah Samaysaraya Swanu Bhutya Chakasate Chitsabhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Ajnana Timira Andanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurin Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayavanta Varto Omkaranad Jinano Jayavanta Varto Jinana Samo Sarana Sau Jayavanta Varto Netirthachara Jagama Jayavanta Varto Namo Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangaryotene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Devyano Jaina Kunda Dvani Apya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupama Gati Pamela Sarve Siddhane Pandika Ho Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Prabhrata Hare Om Eka Suddha Sada Arupi Jnana Dharsanamaya Khare Ayanyate Maru Jari Paramanu Matra Nathi Hare Jam Netrate Majgnana Nati Karakanati Veda Kare Jani Jakarmodaya Nirajara Bandate Majamokshane Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Sri Suddhatmane Namaha. Jai Jinendra. Let's see, share screen. Share screen. Okay. So we are, let's see, just let me put the slide on. So last time we were talking how the rag is getting known. Inclination of attachment, IOA, inclination of attachment. How does it get known? So we were talking about it. We'll quickly recapitulate and then keep going further. So inclination of attachment means rag is an alien object. As we saw before, that all the worldly objects, they are separate from me, body is separate from me, material karma are matter particles, that's why they are separate from me. But even this inclination of attachment occurring within me, that is also separate from me. And as we gave the example, that I have an abscess on my hand, and that abscess, even though it is part of my body, but I need to get rid of it because it is the altered status of my body. It is not my natural status of the body. Same way, inclination of attachment, even though it is occurring in the soul's mode, but it is not belonging to soul because it's an impurity, it's an altered status, it needs to be removed. So that's why it's called alien object. And so that's the closest we are, which we just say it needs to be discarded. So rest of the thing becomes very secondary. My house, my car, my money, my family, my body, my material, they all become secondary and they are alien objects. So let me put this one down here. So with its capacity of knowing alien objects, now knowledge mode has a function of knowing self, and knowledge mode has a function of knowing all the alien objects. And as we said, inclination of attachment is an alien object, so knowledge mode will end up knowing this alien object in the form of inclination of attachment. Then what did he say further? That rag is simply an instrumental cause in knowing action of the knowledge mode. Knowing action occurs within me. Knowing action occurs within me. But rag is simply an instrumental cause. For example, there is a moonless night. All the stars are seen in the sky. And I'm sitting at the edge of a pond. And I see the reflection of all those stars in the water. Water of the pond is quiet. And I see all the millions of stars are getting reflected in the water. Is the reflection seen in the water, are they real stars? No, it is simply an illumination. It is simply a reflection of the real star in the sky. Okay, so now I go into the water and I said, let me catch the stars. When I dive into the water, what will I get? Will I get the stars? No, I will just get the coolness of the water. I will experience the coolness of water. So, the reflection is part of the coolness of the water only. They're not the real thing. Only the real stars in the sky, they become instrumental cause for this water to show the image into the water. When I just dive inside and I look for it, I just get the coolness of water only. Coolness characteristics of water that I felt. Same way, when I go into my soul and try to see, where is the rag? Where is the rag? Let me see. I will simply see knowledge and knowledge and knowledge. I'll see the coolness of knowledge. I'll experience that way. So there is no real the reflection is there, but when I go inside, I will feel nothing but the coolness of knowledge only. So rag is simply an instrumental cause. Just like the stars are instrumental cause in giving reflection in the quiet water of the pond, same way rag, inclination of attachment, is simply an instrumental cause in the knowing action of the knowledge mode. The knowing action is same as stars getting reflected in that water. That's quote unquote knowing action. So that knowing action in the sense of an image of the stars, reflection of the stars in the water, that knowing action at the time, rag is simply an instrumental cause. So knowledge mode per se has no impurity or dependence on the rag. As we say, reflection in the pond water. When I go inside, I just see nothing but the coolness of water only. I don't see any stars or anything at all. Same way, when I enter the soul and I look at the knowledge mode has no impurity or dependency on anything at all. It is its own purity that will reflect the rag, that will reflect the inclination of attachment. So having that point clear, all knower soul substance is the ultimate reason for knowing action seen in the mode. Just like coolness and quietness of the water is the reason for stars reflection in the water. Same way, all knower soul substance, eternal soul substance, is the ultimate reason for quote unquote knowing action seen in the mode. Because the knowing action comes in the knowing mode, knowledge mode, and the knowledge mode comes from the knowledge attribute, and the knowledge attribute comes from the all-knower soul substance. So ultimately, buck stops at the all-knower soul substance. Soul substance says, I can't pass this buck to anybody. I am the ultimate reason. I'm the reason for producing this knowing mode, and whatever gets reflected in knowing mode, it does get reflected. So what? So each time an object comes to be known, it gives publicity of the all-knower soul substance. Nayak ni prasiddhi. I met a very, very good friend of mine here in Mangalayatan, and she said, she just gave a mantra to me. She said, each time you see anything, you just say, I end up knowing my knowledge. I end up knowing my knowledge. Okay, I saw this phone. I end up knowing my knowledge. I end up seeing this mouse. I end up knowing my knowledge. I end up seeing this shirt. I end up knowing my knowledge. So each time, let's try this one. In a day, 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, all the time. When I see anything, it is a knowledge. It's my knowledge. It's my knowledge. Because if knowledge is not there, nothing can be known. This thing could be there, but if there's no knowledge, who is going to know this one? This mouse has no knowledge, so mouse does not know that there's a phone over here. It's only me as a knowledge. If the mirror's purity reflects all the universal substances, it's the purity of the mirror reflecting. If I put the same whole universe in front of a wall, nothing gets published, nothing gets reflected, because wall has no capacity to give the reflection. Only plain, pure, clean, complete mirror gives the reflection. So that's why each time I see anything, I have seen my knowledge. I have seen my all-knower soul substance. I'm giving publicity to all my all-knowers. Remember, I see everything. I see whole world. Did I ever think about who is the observer? I am the observer. I'm the eternal soul substance. I'm the all-knower soul substance. I am the all-knower. And because I know it, that's why everything gets known. So now I have to change my attitude a little bit and just give publicity to my all-knower soul substance. And if I do this one once, twice, 3 times, and again and again and again, it will become my second nature. And that way, I'll be able to concentrate on my all-knower soul substance. And when I do that, that's called suppression. That's the beginning of the purity. And it will continuously improve more further, and ultimately it will be a liberation state in ultimate purity. So this is the way the rag is getting known in mind. Now, conventional point of view, when we talk about, one ends up knowing the inclination of attachment, knowledge mode knows the rag. I end up knowing this phone. I end up knowing this shirt. I end up knowing these glasses. That's a conventional point of view. But absolute point of view, knowledge regarding the inclination of attachment in the form of an object, in the form of an alien object. Knowledge regarding the inclination of attachment in the form of an alien object occurred in the knowledge mode by itself. My knowledge mode by itself end up knowing my knowledge mode. This is very oxymoron. I know myself only, my knowledge mode knows my knowledge mode only. Yes, that is true. That kind of attitude I have to create. So one ends up knowing his own knowledge mode. What is this knowing? That knowing is a rag. That inclination of attachment is getting reflected, and that reflection occurring in my knowledge mode, I end up knowing that knowledge mode. So my knowledge mode end up knowing the same knowledge mode which has a knowing action of rag reflection in it. So that's the absolute point of view. The Samaysar, Kundukun, continuously, and Gurudev Kanji Swami for 45 years kept on giving this message of independence. Knowledge mode has its own independence of knowledge, doesn't depend on anything. Just because something is there, I end up knowing, that is not true. I am the all-knower soul substance, and that's why I end up knowing. I have to take that responsibility. I have to take that independence. I have to consider and that's only the way I'll be able to understand better. So at the time of knowing action of the soul, the object is simply present as an instrumental cause. Remember instrumental cause definition, nimit. Instrumental cause means nimit. What is the definition of nimit? Means instrumental cause. When an act is getting done in a principle or a principal thing, when an act is getting done in a principal thing, the associated things present are known as instrumental cause. This room has several lights. They were on for 24 hours. They were not instrumental cause for me when I was not here. Only when I'm here, I want to start computer, I want to see what is happening. That time that light became instrumental cause. No, action is within me. I'm doing the action, then the light became instrumental cause. Light did not do anything to me. I did the work. I started computer. I started looking at it. I did all the action. Light simply is present. So instrumental cause means when action is getting done in a principal thing, then associated favorable things present is known as instrumental cause. I'm hungry. There's a food in front of me. So food is an instrumental cause. I have a book in front of me. I have a book in my house for last 20, 30, 40 years. I never open. But now that I open the book and I'm reading it, then the book becomes instrumental cause for my things. Action is occurring within me.
Kirit uncle? Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
We talked about attachment and rag being pudgal.
Yes.
So in some sense, rag is also out of our control. It's an instrumental cause. It's
Okay. See, what is happening? The rag is a pudgal, right? Why did we call as a matter? We call inclination of attachment, that means rag, as matter particle. They are not actually matter particle, but they are been given, they are accused to be a matter particle. Why? Number one, does rag has a capacity to know? No, only knowledge mode has a capacity to know. In fact, infinite attributes present in the soul substance. Out of all the infinite attributes, only knowledge mode has a capacity to know. The faith attribute, the conduct attribute, eternal existence attribute, all those things are quote unquote blind. They don't know anything. Only knowledge mode knows. Same way, rag does not know. So things which does not know, it is non-conscious thing in nature, achetan in nature. Okay, number one. Second thing, rag occurred in me as a soul. It occurred within me. But when did it occur? When I directed my attention to the object, material object. This material object, I directed attention, and that's why the rag occurred. Okay, now let's say that Chirag, you ask a question. I like very much all the questions that you asked for it. Now, Chirag became instrumental cause for me to have affection towards him. So, Chirag become instrumental cause. Same way, rag occurs within me when I direct my attention to something else. So if something else is not there, there is no rag. So my own mode by itself decided to look on the at the material objects. When I looked at the material objects, then the rag got generated within me. So, if there is no material objects attention, then there was no rag. Siddha Bhagwan, he is seeing the whole universe, past, present, and future. But he doesn't bring attention to that. His attention is gone to his eternal soul substance, and he is engrossed within his own pure nature of the soul, and that reflection occurs in his mode. Whole universe is seen, but he does not generate rag. He does not bring attention to that. So it's my fault that I brought the attention to the alien object. So number one, the rag occurred because attention was focused on the alien object. That's why rag is also being accused to be an alien object. Because rag's generation is related to alien object attention. So alien object is must, and that's why rag has been accused to be an alien object. Number one, it has no knowledge mode. It has no capacity to know. That's why it's non-conscious element. And second thing, it is generated as I have drawn my attention to alien object. And that's why it has been called as a matter. It's called non-living. Okay? Does it make sense?
I mean, I think my question is that if it's non-living, okay, if the pen moves, if I move the pen and the pen moves, the pen, we said that it had its own time to move, and so it moved. The same way, if rag is pudgal, it has its own time to come,
yeah,
and then it comes.
Okay. So
I sometimes you say that we are doing rag, and sometimes it seems like rag comes on its own.
When we say I'm doing rag, remember, if I'm doing rag, if rag is my nature of doing, if rag is a nature of my nature to perform all the time, then rag will become part of my soul substance, and it can never get out. Just like the knowledge mode does the action of knowing, and that's why knowledge mode belongs to soul no matter what. Same way, if I just say, I do the rag, I perform the rag, I did the action of rag, that is a conventional point of view. I just say, I'm Kirit. I know I'm not Kirit. I'm the eternal soul substance. That soul is having association with a physical body, and that physical body with the soul is given name of Kirit. So it's a conventional perspective. So same way, I'm performing rag. That's a conventional perspective. Actually, I am the all-knower soul substance with the knowledge mode, having the reflection of the rag occurring within me, and I know my knowledge mode having the reflection of rag within, and that's a real thing. That's an absolute point of view.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Okay. And that's why we are giving this example of this dog. The dog is chewing the bone, and when the sharpness of bone is touching the palate and the blood comes out, what does dog feel? He thinks that the sweet taste of blood is coming from the bone. Actually, he's tasting his own blood, but his vision, his faith is confused. His faith attribute is confused, and so he believes wrongly that taste of blood is coming from the bone. In actuality, it is his own blood he is tasting. Same way, rag is occurring in a matter particle, but I believe that I'm performer of the rag. I have the wrong belief, just like the dog having the belief that the blood is coming from the bone. Same way, I'm thinking that rag is coming from me. Actually, rag is not coming from me. It is the knowledge of the rag occurring within me. So that separation I have to do. This is called Vedna. This is called discriminative science. When I understand these things, that means it gives me understanding of the independence of a given substance. And when I understand the independence of the given substance, then I'm on the real right path. First thing, understanding. And then the action occurs. So first part is understanding. I want to go from point A to point B. I came from Phoenix to New Delhi. I found it out exactly what time the flight leaves from Phoenix, how many hours of layover I have in London, what's the next flight, what time I'll be reaching Delhi. I found that one out first, knowledge. And then the action occurred according to my knowledge. Same way here, I have to understand what's the reality. How is the rag known? Rag being an object, how that object is getting known. I understand that part. I repeat that one again and again. I contemplate on it again and again. When I do that, ultimately it will become my second nature. And each time I see any object, I'll just say it is publicizing my eternal soul substance. My all-knower soul substance is publicized. I end up knowing. That means I'm the reason for knowledge. That attitude, when it becomes second nature for me, that's a great beginning. And ultimately, it will take us to the nirvana. Okay. So let's go to, this was the thing we discussed last time. So now, true assumption. What is a true assumption here? This is summarizing what we talked. Knowledge mode, which knows the self, an alien being, is a deed of all knower soul substance. Now we are going to do about doer-deed relationship, which is the crux of this second paragraph of the stanza 6. First paragraph we talked about, now this is second paragraph we are talking, in which knowledge mode means the action occurring in the knowledge mode, which does the action of knowing. What does it know? Self and the alien being. The knowledge mode knows the self, knowledge mode knows the alien being. So this is the action occurring in the knowledge mode, and that's why it's called deed. It's called karma. Now, one has to be very careful. Words, where are they used and what's the intended meaning? We should have a proper understanding. Otherwise, we get confused. Here, word karma means deed, the action. Other places will be using karma, means it could be the material karma, knowledge obscuring karma, perception obscuring karma, deluding karma. So karma word will be used there also. But here, karma means action. Action. Where does the action occur? In the knowledge mode. What does the knowledge mode know? Self and alien recognition. So knowledge mode, which knows the self and alien being, is known as deed. Deed of all knower soul substance. All knower soul substance is present over here, and it has an action occurring in the mode, and that action is called deed. Then, Where does the action, how does the action occur? In the knowledge mode. Where is this knowledge mode coming from? It is coming from the eternal soul substance. So eternal soul substance is a doer. So I'm the doer of the action. I'm the doer of the deed. I'm the eternal soul substance creating the knowledge mode to know the self and the alien objects. So I as a soul substance is a doer. Karta. I'm the doer. And what did I do? What was my action? I did the action of knowledge mode. So eternal soul substance is a doer, and the knowledge mode, doing the action of knowing, becomes deed. So now doer-deed relationship is occurring over here. So doer-deed relationship occurred. Where did it occur? Doer is my soul substance, eternal soul substance, and deed is my knowledge mode. So doer and deed are occurring in the same substance. And that's a true assumption.
Kirit uncle? Later on, we will say that Dravya is Akarta and Paryay is Swayam Karta. This is right now conventional point of view.
Right now, oh my God, it's so good because you're already jumping 2 or 3 or 4 slides ahead. No problem. Very good. Right now we are saying action occurs in one substance only. That's why eternal soul substance is been accused as doer. And this knowledge mode is called deed, the action. So now this is occurring in one substance. Hang on, I'll just give the answer for your answer. I'll give the answer for your question. Now, what's a false assumption? False assumption is presence of inclination of attachment is doer. Presence of inclination of attachment as doer. Just like eternal soul substance doer. Here it says presence of inclination of attachment is doer, and shape of the knowledge mode is a deed. Rag karta and gnana karte ragnu karya. Here, what is happening? Now I'm just saying the rag is present over here. This is rag present, and that's the reason that there is a reflection occurs in my knowledge mode. So this guy is a doer, rag is a doer, object is a doer, and my knowledge mode is a deed. Now these are entirely two substances. So that's a false assumption. You cannot have doer-deed relationship in two substances. Two substances, remember the word I'm using is very important. Two substances, doer-deed relation cannot be occurring. Doer-deed relationship can occur only in one substance, as we just talked over here in the upper part. Now, Chirag, your question is, now see this one, this true assumption and false assumption is separating the two substances are reason for a given act. That's a wrong assumption. So all the action occurred in one substance only. One substance only. This one substance has substance, attributes, and modes. For example, if you come to my house and when somebody, I invited somebody called me that, I have a problem and I need to have something checked out. Can I come to your home? So yes, you come to my home. So a given person comes to Gosalia residence. The person will say, I went to Gosalia residence, my problem was cured. When he enters into the house, now my wife is there, my kid is there, I am there, my grandkids are there. Who is solving the problem? When you're coming into the house, who is the actual solver of the problem? I am the one. because I took care of the patient's problem and gave him appropriate information. So ultimately, I am the doer. But when you're talking two separate objects, a patient and my house, so he says, I went to Gosalia residence, my problem got resolved. But when he came into the house, in the house, there's so many entities are there, out of which only one entity, Kirit Gosalia, took care of the problem. So here, right now, this true assumption, false assumption is depending on two objects we are talking about, two different objects, two different substances we are talking, and so we are making division on the basis of two different substances. Now, Chirag, your answer to your question, when I'm entering the house, when I'm entering the soul, does the action occur in the soul substance? It's an inert in nature. It never does anything. It's there constantly, inert phase. Do all the attributes do the function? No, they are also inert in nature. Who does the function? Mode is end up doing the function. The knowledge mode ends up knowing all the function. So ultimately, this true assumption, when I consider from the soul's perspective, will be occurring in the mode, and that will be, and the next 2 or 3 or 4 slides down, it is coming. Okay? So right now, we are separating from two, so we are making gross separation. We are not doing finer separation. Gross separation, this object is over here, I'm the soul over here, this is the doer, this is the deed, cannot happen. I'm the doer, I'm the deed, that's true thing. So that's a true assumption in the crude form of this separation. Now we'll do the finer form of separation, which will come later on. Let's see what it comes. So right now, doer-deed relationship, karta karma sambandh, same thing what we talked so far. What's the right thing? Knowledge mode, which knows the self and alien being, is a deed, means action of all knower soul substance. Swapar prakasha gnan, ignayak nu karya che, karma che. Eternal soul substance is a doer, karta, te atma te no karta che. So this is doer-deed relationship occurred in the same substance. This is a knowledge mode, this is all knower soul substance. So deed and doer, this is true understanding of doer-deed relationship present in a same substance. Right now we are talking same substance. This is a crude form of separation we are doing. Later on we'll do the finer form. Now, wrong thing is presence of influence of attachment as a doer, rag as a karta, and shape of knowledge mode means gnanakar is a deed, karma. Te gnanakar, te ragnu karya. That's not true. So, this is a false understanding, false assumption of doer-deed relationship, where two entirely different substances are involved. So this is very important take-home message, that doer-deed relationship occurs in one substance only, and I'm the one who is responsible and nobody else is. Buck stops at me. I'm the responsible. If something happened good to me, I'm the reason. Something bad happened to me, I'm the reason. That's it. When bad happens, I just blame the whole world. Good happens, I'm the king. I did good thing. No. So I had to start taking the matter in my own hand, and I have to say, I'm the reason for my problem. I'm the reason to solve the problem. If I take that responsibility, I'm the right path. This is understanding. Once understanding is there, then my blame game becomes less and less and less. It goes away. Because doer-deed relationship occurs in the same substance. Doer means, when some drunk is hitting me and my car got damaged, conventionally it is true. But it was supposed to happen to me, so I am responsible. It's happening to me, not to. So doer-deed relationship, karta karma sambandh, does not happen in two substances.
Wait, can you, in that example of a drunk guy hitting your car, can you Can you outline where is the doer karta and where is the deed karma, nanakar?
Okay, it was supposed to happen to me. So, right now, who was the doer? My own mode is a doer. My own mode is a deed. I'm sorry. My own mode is a deed means it is supposed to happen at that time. It did happen, and it happened to me. Me means in this drunk thing we are talking as a me, as a person. So it happened to me. It was supposed to happen to me. So it did happen to me, and that's it. So I'm responsible for whatever happened to me. That drunk guy was simply an instrumental cause. If I understand that part, let's say that I win $10 million lottery today. Then I said, I'm the reason, because I bought the ticket and everything. Okay? Something bad happens to me, I'm the reason, not to blame others. That blame game, I have to take it out. I'm the reason the wrong thing happened to me. I'm the reason good thing happens to me. So doer-deed relationship occur within me. See, Pudgal, matter particle, they don't have knowledge, they don't have feeling and everything, so we don't care for them. I am the one with the feeling. Do I understand that I am the reason for my own acts? I take that responsibility, I'm the right path. Okay, so the same thing what we talked in previous slide. Now, let's go a little bit up. Now there is something, we are changing little gear over here. Now we are talking intensity of emotions. This couple of slides that are there. They are the precursor of the third slide coming. So let's see, understand over here. Intensity of toxic emotions. What happens? Toxic emotions present means kashai present, and SDS means spiritual development state. Spiritual development stages. Gunsthana. There are 1 to 14 spiritual development stages are there. And so there are also appropriate toxic emotions are present. And what are the relationship that we have to have a little bit understanding before knowing the next slide. So infinite bonded toxic emotions, they are called Anantanubandhi Kashai. Infinite bonded toxic. So when I'm in the first Gunstan, first spiritual development stage, then I have all these emotions are toxic emotions, and they are bonding infinite types of karma which will stay with me for infinite time. Not infinite time, but long time. Up to 70 kroda sagrapam, to be exact. So infinite bonded toxic emotion means there's very strong bondage I'm getting right now in the first spiritual development stage. When I'm going to the fourth spiritual development stage, which is called Samyak Darshan, which is called right faith, which is called enlightenment, and at that time I have partial vow preventing toxic emotions, means these are apratyakhana varnya karma, means these are extremely milder form of emotions, milder form of toxic emotion. This one, if we consider infinite bonded toxic emotions having 100% intensity, then partial vow preventing toxic emotions maybe 1 or 2 or 3% of intensity. Think about it. That over here, I have a highly toxic emotions are there. These emotions are extremely mild, still there. Then comes fifth spiritual development stage, and it becomes complete vow preventing toxic emotions, means they become so feeble emotion right now that considering the first stage, it was 100% for 100 intensity. The second stage was 2 or 3% even in intensity. This one is 1% intensity. Yeah, rough numbers for our understanding, we are talking about it. So fifth spiritual development stage, I have a toxic emotion, I have a rag, I have a dvesh, I have inclination of attachment and aversion. but they are extremely mild in nature. And in 6th and 7th spiritual development stage, I have perfect conduct disturbing toxic emotions. So these are so feeble in nature, as if you're drawing a line in the water and line gets drawn in the front and the back line gets erased. So this kind of toxic emotions are there, so feeble in nature that they just arise and go away, and they just practically don't leave any after effect. So in the first stage, it's an intense, severe toxic emotions are kashai. Toxic emotions means anger, deceit, ego, and greed. So anger, deceit, ego, and greed are intense form in the first stage, which is first gunstana, mithyatva gunstana, wrong faith in the spiritual development stage. Fourth stage, the toxic emotions means anger, deceit, ego, greed are becoming so minuscule that practically it's not there. And thereafter, it becomes further feeble and feeble that at that time, they're apparently, they're not there. They are there, but they're so feeble that we can say it's not there. So now, let's come over here once again, understanding. If I have first spiritual development stage, then I'm bonding toxic emotions, means I had the bondage of toxic emotions, means anger, deceit, ego, greed are present in the form of extreme intense form. And then over here, when it comes to the fourth stage, they become very feeble. They're so feeble that, let's say you have $1 million in your pocket and I have $5 in my pocket only. Considering you, I'm a pauper. I'm just so poor guy that I have practically no money except $5 with me. Same way, this intensely bonded toxic emotions of anger, deceit, ego, greed are intense in nature. And when you come to this partial vow preventing fashion on the fourth stage, it is so feeble that they have been said that exactly they are not present. Considering your $1 million, my $5 has nothing. I'm very poor. I'm the poorest of the poor. Same way, this guy is very poor on the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th, poor in the form of emotions, poor in the form of anger, deceit, ego, and greed. So, remember, from one perspective, unto 6th and 7th stage, toxic emotions are present. But from the other perspective, once the majority are gone, then practically they are so feeble that they are considered to be not present. Having said that one, now we go to the next set of slides. That on first spiritual development stage, there is presence of diluted state with toxic emotions. There's a diluted state with toxic emotions. And on the 4th spiritual development stage, there is no diluted state. There is absence of diluted state, but still milder form of toxic emotions are present, which is called asthirtano rag. Milder form of toxic emotions to be present is called inclination of attachment due to instability. That's all we have to understand right now. So now this slide, does enlightened soul has rag, means toxic emotions? It says no. This is from perspective of absence of infinitely bonded toxic emotions, which are the main bulk of creating the emotions within me, main bulk of creating anger, deceit, ego, and greed. So they are gone in the 4th stage. Enlightened soul means 4th stage. In the 4th stage, those things are gone. Majority bulk is gone. That's why even though I have $5 in my pocket, I'm being considered as a poor guy. So even though this enlightened soul has a presence of anger, deceit, ego, greed, but they're so feeble that from one perspective it's been said they don't have it. But from the other perspective, he still has inclination of attachment related to instability of his nature of staying in the innate form, and that's why it is called asthirtan or rag that is present. So to remember, always in Jain philosophy, perspective is very important. Perspective will be coming all the time. What perspective I'm looking at it? I went for jogging in the morning at 5 o'clock morning today. It was dark. And then as the time passed by, the dusk occurred. And I can see something right now. I can see the road and everything. Now, tell me, is it a day or is it night? Then you'll say, it all depends what perspective you're looking at it. Because sun is not there, it is called night. But you can still see something. That's why it can also be called day. So perspective. So here, what's a perspective? That it is so feeble, considering your $1 million, my $5 is nothing. So that's why I'm being called poor. That's why this enlightened soul at the fourth spiritual development stage is called poor of these toxic emotions. He has it, but it's so minimal that as good as they are nothing. But because it's still present, so it's been said, yes, they are there. So these are the kind of things that we'll be using. The different perspective will be used. So at one point, it will just say enlightened soul has no emotion, no anger, deceit, ego, greed. On the other side, it will just say enlightened soul do have anger, deceit, ego, greed. What perspective they are using? These are the perspective they are using. That's what we have to keep in mind. So knowledge mode's capacity is to know the self and also alien object. Now we are changing the gear again. Knowledge mode's capacity is to know the self and alien objects. Okay. So does knowing mode knows alien object? Similar thing, because Gurudev Kanji Swami is so keen to make sure that really this principle sits in our mind properly and does not move away. So he uses different perspective, different time, again and again, same principle he'll throw us to us. So again, this one is coming out. So now we know it. Knowledge mode does not know alien object just because they are present. Knowledge mode did not know this alien object just because it's present. Then what happened? But knows the mode. Knowledge mode knows the mode which knows the knowledge related to the alien object. Per sambandhi nugnan potane potathi thaishe. My knowledge mode knows my own knowledge mode. It appears to be oxymoron, right? But that's what we have to say, that action occurred in my knowledge mode. Who is the doer of this action? My knowledge mode. Deed is my knowledge mode. Doer is my knowledge mode. So both the things are in the same knowledge mode. And Chirag, that's the answer to your question is coming now. So alien object is simply present as an instrumental cause, and that's it. So now, here, as the alien object gets illuminated in the knowledge mode ends up knowing alien object. How did I know the alien object? I'm the mirror. Because of the reflection occurring in the mirror, that's why mirror ends up knowing the reflection. So that's a true thing. Now, on this assumption, there'll be, so 1 second, hold it. An alien object gets illuminated in the knowledge mode ends up, for example, this is the object. This is the knowledge mode. This object gets reflected in the knowledge mode, and that's why knowledge mode ends up knowing Once again, this is the object. Object gets reflected in the knowledge mode, and that's why knowledge mode ends up knowing is going to be not a true assumption. Because on this assumption, there will be impurity in this knowledge mode, because alien object becomes the reason for the knowledge to occur. If there is no object here, there will not be any reflection over here. If there is an object here, that's why there is reflection, then it's a wrong assumption. Just because stars are present in the sky, that's why they are reflected in the water. But if the water was moving water, would you have the reflection? No. Only water is quiet, pond water is quiet, and no wind is going on, absolutely quiet water. And that's why you see the reflection into the water. So water is the reason for creating reflection. So this is not a true statement when we are considering object being present. In actuality, during the time that mode having characteristic knowledge of an object, Gnayakar, does not know the alien object, but ends up knowing the all-knower self only. Knowledge mode ends up knowing the knowledge mode. That's it. Knowledge mode ends up knowing the reflection present in the knowledge mode. So knowledge mode is a doer and knowledge mode is a deed. Who performs the act? Knowledge mode is performing act. What act is getting done? It's a reflection occurring in knowledge mode. That's a deed. So knowledge mode is doer and deed is knowledge mode. So in one mode, doer and deed both are occurring, and that's an absolute perfect fact. And that was the Chirag, your question was. So answer is knowledge mode is a doer and knowledge mode itself is a deed. So doer-deed relationship occurs in a given mode, and that's a true statement. That's a perfect statement. That's an absolute point of view. જાણનારો જણાય છે, જણાય એવી ચીજ જણાય નથી. No, the all-knower soul substance, that all-knower soul substance mode is having knowing capacity, and that knowing capacity ends up reflecting the object, and that mode ends up knowing that mode. So it kind of, we are talking same thing occurring in the same mode. Two different actions are occurring. That's what we are trying to say, and that's what we have to understand. Which perspective I'm looking at it.
But Kirit, when will you talk about soul being akarta?
Yeah.
That comes later or now?
No. Because remember, where does the action occur? In the knowledge mode. What was the action? Knowing. What was the knowing? Reflection in that knowing mode, right? So the knowledge mode is a knower, knowledge mode is a doer, and knowledge mode is a deed. At that time, soul substance is inert. Soul substance did not do anything. Attributes did not do anything. All the action occurred in the knowledge mode. When a patient came to Gosalia residence, only Kirit Gosalia ended up seeing that patient and took care of it. Nobody did. Vibhuti did not do it. Rina did not do it. My grandchildren did not do it. They were inert. They were observers. I was the one doing action. So Gosalia residence took care of the problem, but when you come to Gosalia residence, Kirit took care of the problem. So from two different substance perspective, things did not happen in the object, everything happened in the soul substance. Now when I'm coming to soul substance, then not the soul substance, not the attributes, but the knowledge mode is doing the actions of knowing.
So how come you use the word gnayakar in that fourth point? Why can you use gnanakar? Is it the same?
Actually, during the time, mode, characteristic, knowledge, it should be Gnanakar. It should be Gna. But this Gnayakar word says that even this object is present. So it just declares that present object was present. But the knowing action occurred in the knowledge mode only. So either you use word Gnayakar or Gnanakar, both are same thing, but Gnayakar means it just gives the idea that, remember, action occurred in the soul's mode, knowledge mode, but alien object was present as an instrumental cause. That's why word Gnayakar was used. Just to make sure that to be aware of it, about the instrumental cause being present. So ultimately, it's a Gnanakar. When we look from the soul's mode's perspective, knowledge mode's perspective, then this is called Gnanakar. The shape occurred in the knowledge mode itself. And I think you are really putting attention, because that's a very microscopic point, and you picked it up. That's very good. Ram, I'm so proud of you. Okay, so let's see. We have 1 minute remaining. Let's try to see what comes. Along with knowing the self, the knowledge mode also knows influence of attachment and alien object. Okay, we know that part. During this knowledge of the alien object, the knowledge mode does not have impurity due to the presence of object that is getting recognized. So I'm just saying, I'm independent, I'm the mode, I'm independent, I don't have any relationship with I don't have any dependency on the object being present. Yes, I understand. I take it into consideration that object was present as an instrumental cause, but action occurred within me. That's why I don't have gnay kruta asuddhata. I don't have impurity. I don't have dependency on any alien object. And so knowledge regarding this object occurred in the mode by itself is not due to presence of alien object, in this case, influence of attachment. So knowledge mode by itself decided to reflect and end up knowing that reflection, and all those things occurred there only. This knowledge mode arising from all knower substance, Nayak, also ends up knowing the alien object by itself only. So all these things are occurring with this knowledge mode only. Knowledge mode ends up knowing all knower soul substance and all the object, everything, actions occurs in that microscopic one Samaysar knowledge mode's action. So those are the things that we have to have understanding. Once we understand, I think we will have to, time is up, so we won't go, we are already up. So ask any questions if there, because this is a very microscopic point we are discussing, and same thing again and again we are discussing, so that at the end we have proper understanding. Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it mainly the Jain perspective that it was my karma that a drunk driver hit my car and not his bad deed? I remember when I asked you about the guy who shot Gandhi, you said it was Gandhi's karma to die then in that way. However, the Indian justice system didn't say, oh, well, if Gandhi was just an instrument of cause, if he hadn't shot Gandhi, someone else would have. They hung him, right?
Well, you're right. So see, when we talk the criminal justice system and everything, we are talking from conventional perspective. Listen, Kathy, you had a gun and you released the trigger and gun came to me and I died. So you are the cause and I'm the effect, but that's a conventional point of view. What Jainism will say, I was supposed to die at that time, no matter what. And at that time, you were supposed to pull the trigger no matter what. So it was predetermined, predestined. You did that act, and I was also, I decided to be present and at that time also. And so those things happened so quick that it appears you released the you released the trigger and gun came and I died. So you are responsible. So we are talking, that one is a conventional perspective. And yes, when we are in the society, the conventional perspective is true from conventional perspective phase. In the sense, if I just end up saying that, yeah, you know what, whatever happens to me, happened to me, whatever happened to you, happened to you. If that is a case, then there's going to be really disturbance in the society. Societal calm will get disturbed. So when we talk about the absolute point of view and conventional point of view, we'll go in detail about those things. And I think the 11th stanza, when it comes, whenever we finish this 6th stanza, 11th stanza, there will be so much about conventional perspective and absolute perspective, and we'll have blast going on at the time. Conventional perspective is true from conventional point of view. But when we consider absolute point of view, then conventional perspective is not true. So, did you kill me? Yes. Should you get the punishment? Yes. But in actually, really, was it the same thing? No, because I got the fruition of my old bad karma from before, and that came in fruition. That's why it happened to me, and I died. And you had that grudge, that inclination of aversion within you, so intense, and that came in fruition. You decided to pull the trigger. So both the absolute perspective, both the things are two separate events. But conventional perspective, yes, it happened, and both the things are important in the life. But ultimately, we have to keep on going on the higher ladder of spirituality. So ultimately, I have to give up the conventional perspective in the sense, yes, action occurred because of you that I died. I understand that part. But ultimately, I also have to know that I died because of myself and not because of somebody else. So I have to keep both the things ready. I should just keep the equanimity in both the sides, and that's a way I can further progress myself. You know.
Kirit uncle, if you don't mind, I just want to share like a very simplistic mantra. It's like bhogvete ni bhul, which means like fault lies in the sufferer.
Yep. Yeah, the guy who made the mistake, not now, in the past, then it's in fruition right now. So it is his own mistake. See, that means it teaches us, so it's such a nice sentence you say, it teaches us that if something bad I did, I can get the results of it right now. If I do the bad right now, what will happen to me? I'll be the sufferer in the future. Do I want to be that way? No. So I should just take away my attention from the object of the world and just look within myself, right? Okay, guys, thank you very much. It was very nice, and we'll continue the same discussion again. If there is any question in between or whatever, if it needs to be clarified, you can throw the email to me and we'll just go through it, okay? जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लो कालो, सोवाणी मस्तक नमो सदा देत हूँ डाक। नौबा नमो कम। Jai Chandra. Dikran, if I made mistake, please forgive me, and also let me know that mistake was there, and I'll try to improve. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week, okay? And by the way, happy Diwali and happy New Year to everybody.
Happy Diwali.
Yeah.